Hey everyone, welcome to another $1,000 strap search. I've got my $1,000 in singles here and I'm about to show you what I found. But before I do, let's talk about this week's tip. Now, you'll see me go through 1,000 notes every week. Way back 4 years ago when I started doing this, I only did 500, but I quickly advanced to 1,000. The reason I do 1,000 notes is because that way I am guaranteed to find something, anything, whatever it is, whether it's just a trinary, whether it's a star, the most mundane find you can come up with, I am guaranteed to find if I go through 1,000 notes. Now, I have seen other channels that do strap searches, and I have seen one who literally takes out his wallet and pulls out whatever bills are in there and tries to go through those bills to find something. Which is a cool concept if he actually finds something. The problem is that he's only going through 20 notes. Well, when you go through 20 random notes from your pocket and try to make a video about that, you kind of have to emphasize every little thing that you spot. Well, every little thing isn't worth something. So just because there's a video out there and somebody is proclaiming this, that, and the other about a particular bill, that doesn't make it worth any money. It may make it interesting. It may make it that you want to keep it because it's interesting, but it doesn't mean you should take that note and throw it up on eBay for $500. Notes are printed, and because notes are printed, most of them have errors. They just do not print perfect notes on a regular basis. In fact, I can't remember the last time I saw a note that was graded 70 perfect. That should be one of my goals, is to actually buy a note graded 70 perfect, just so that I can say I have one. But because they are so difficult to come across like that, that should tell you that virtually every note has some kind of an error. So once again, that's why I go through 1,000 singles, to guarantee that there's going to be something that I find when I do my searches, because a lot of times when you see searches, they just don't go through enough notes to give themselves a shot at finding anything. So to make the videos interesting, they have to emphasize every little thing. All right, so that's what I've got for you that way. Once again, just reiterating, not everything is worth $1 million. I can only imagine all the things that are in these notes that I will be sending back to the bank that other people are going to try to sell, thinking that they're worth money. All right, let's take a peek at what I found. Well, before I do that, I should tell you that this is part 2 of my 4-part Vegas search. I already did the high-end casinos. These particular casinos I'm calling the outskirts, which are casinos that are a little further away to get to. It would be Virgin, which used to be Hard Rock, the Palms, the Gold Coast, the Rio, the Westgate, the Sahara, Palace Station, and then I did throw in 2 of the strip casinos, Mandalay Bay, and for some reason I decided the Cromwell was going to go in this group as well. So that is the list of casinos that I did, and here is what I found at those places. Starting off with a Where's George. Found a Where's George note. I will be logging this one right away. This Where's George note came from Palace Station. I made sure to mark down where I found it so I knew what I was going to do there. And before I get into the rest of them, let's see. The Rio wouldn't give me straps on a normal, on a normal day, but it just so happened that somebody had returned 300 singles to them, so they were willing to sell me 1 strap of singles. Unfortunately, as I went through this, I don't have any notes next to the name Rio, so there wasn't anything in there. Something tells me that they may have been searched. That's fine. All right, so there's the Where's George. I did find a trinary, 0s, 7s, and 8s. 5s, 7s, and 8s on this one. 3s, 5s, and 8s right here. And this one's quads, quad 5s. Here's a star note, always checking to make sure that the stars aren't filled in. Another star note there, same year, 2017. Here's just, that was 2017A. This is 2017. And then some older notes, 2003A. Another 2003A. Another 2003A. 2003. I started saving these just because I don't see that many, and these are officially 20 years old, so that's why I started pulling these. 2001, that's in rough shape, probably going to go back. 1999, another 99 with writing, so that's going to go back. 1995, checking to see if it's a web note. It is not. 1995 in much better shape. It's got an X. Some people like seeing the X because you don't get to X very often. Y is as far as they've ever gotten in the suffixes there. Another 1995, still not a web note. 1993, not a web note. And the oldest note I found, 1988, a first year for web notes, still not a web note. This one's in pretty rough shape as well. But I did find one other thing. Now, like I said, there are errors on virtually every note you can find. And I'm not saying that this is worth any money at all, but I found it interesting. And when it comes to collecting, that is the most important thing. Do you find it interesting? Remember, we're collectors, okay? You're allowed to collect anything you like. If you're a dealer and you're trying to sell stuff, well, if you want to sell stuff and try to make money, you better be selling stuff that's at least worth money. Let me show you what else I found. This is a 2017, and it was crisp, virtually uncirculated, but it has this very heavy inking across the top. I don't know if it does any justice doing that, so let me take another note here and put it here, and you can see how heavily inked the top is. It's almost blurred. There is so much ink. Look at you can see how the ink is all over the place. Now, once again, I'm not saying that this is worth any money, but I noticed it. Because I noticed it, and most importantly, because the note is still crisp, I decided that I was going to save this particular note and put it in a sleeve. The rest of it's fine. Do I think it's worth anything? No. But I think it's interesting, and I tend to save things that are interesting. And that's what you should be doing as well, saving things that are interesting. I'm not going to throw this on eBay trying to get $1,000 for it. That's not the point at all. I just happened to notice it, so I pulled it so that I've got one. All right, so that's what I've got this week. What did I pull out from my box? I pulled out, I'm going to credit Emmanuel's Workbench with this one, because the first time I ever saw one of these was on his channel, and I was just enamored with the note, and I said I have to get one. What note am I talking about? This is a 1975 Canadian $50 bill. $50 Canadian. First of all, the bright red, very stunning. Then you look and you see all these additional colors. It's not just a white note with red ink. You've got all of these other colors. You have the full coat of arms here. Even the serial numbers are done in 2 different tones. You've got red and blue in there. Now, I don't know who is pictured on this note. It doesn't have a name underneath, so I can't say that part of it. But one of the other things to learn about Canadian money is that everything is printed in French and in English. You've got Bank of Canada here in French, and you've got the French version of it over there. So French on this side, English on this side, 50, $50, either way. Yeah, I can't speak French. I'm not even going to try. But yeah, everything on the note is English and French. You can see legal tender here and then here on the bottom. Just checking out all the fine detail. I mean, having multiple colors in the fine detail like that, to me, is just such a beautiful note. And this one is in pretty good shape. It's not perfect. There is a centerfold here. Now, as I'm oohing and eyeing about this note and the design and the color, that's probably enough to get you to get one yourself. The thing is, it's not the front of this note that impresses me. It's the back. Check that out. There are 32 Canadian Mounties in that circle there. The color gives it kind of a cartoonish look or a comic book look. But look at all the different colors. You've got green, you've got yellow, you've got red. It is basically a full color note with that circle of Canadian Mounties. Just such a cool image. Looking here, you've got blues in here as well. So yeah, an incredible use of color, a stunning image of the Mounties like that. And of course, seeing the note with red ink as the primary color really makes the Mountie stand out. Just an impressive note. These go for surprisingly cheap. You can get these probably from the $75 to $100 range. In choice uncirculated, you may hit $200. But yeah, for a 1975 $50 note like this, very, very impressive. Now, the thing with Canadian notes is you have to remember this particular note is paper, but the current notes are all plastic. So you're not going to find this in circulation. Those are all removed from circulation. So now the only way you can actually get this is from collectors or from shows. You're not going to stumble across one of these in a Canadian bank. At least that's the way that I understand it. If I'm wrong about that, anybody from Canada can correct me, but I'm pretty sure that banks do not circulate paper money anymore. I'm pretty sure you're only going to get the plastic stuff, the polymer notes. Anyway, that's what I've got for you guys this week. 1975 Canada, land of Canada, the Canadian $50 bill from 1975 with the Mounties on the back. One of the coolest notes that you're going to see. Very desirable note. If you don't have one, pick one up, because if there's going to be notes that jump in value significantly, it's going to have something special about them, and that's pretty special on the back. All right, guys, if you learned anything new, go ahead and hit that like button. If you like what you see and you want to see more, please subscribe. Love reading all your comments. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.